Hey Bruce, yeah, my college offense, yeah, they just kicked your ass. Read this, bitch.
Here I am, it's the on-campus kingpin, yes I
Eagles session
am.
with Saunders, talking big win over the Arizona Cardinals, folks. The Eagles take this one 24-21. It was a much-needed win by our Eagles going into this game. You had the top, the number 2 run defense against the number 1 run offense. And the Eagles definitely prevailed, folks. And you got to be super ecstatic. The Eagles are playing for something in December. That's right. Big hats off to Chip Kelly for getting the Eagles to this point and having the Eagles fans believing. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about Billy Davis. Billy Davis has this defense working pretty sound. I mean, it's a bend but don't break defense. 8 weeks in a row, 21 points, holding teams under 21 points. That's pretty damn good. Also, hats off to Donnie Jones in the game against the Redskins. 70-yard punt. He was a special teams player of the week that week, and now comes back in the next game. And what does he do? He puts 7 punts inside the 20, which is huge. Averaging 44 yards a punt. Patrick Peterson's back there, a dangerous punt returner. So in that sense, you really gotta appreciate what Donnie Jones has done. You know, the biggest thing that you love is when you start a game out and you put pressure on a QB. You make him jump. You put him in a place of where he's uncomfortable. And thanks to Trent Coles, who said Trent Coles didn't know how to rush the passer anymore? I mean, this guy, hats off to him, creates a turnover and tips the ball out of Carson Palmer's hand, and Benny Logan gets the fumble recovery. I mean, that's the way you start off a game, in the sense that you give the Eagles offense a short field to work with. You give a team like this an opportunity to score early. That's what we need. This is what this offense needs. So they hit Brent Selleck over the middle. He's got some guys on his back, and he's driving for yards. And then they come back with a nice play action. They use LaShawn McCoy as the decoy. That rhymed. And then they had Ertz on a nice little route to the corner, crossing across the field. The Eagles definitely took advantage. Zach Ertz, happy to see our second-round draft pick with a touchdown. The defense, the second series comes up with another turnover. Nate Allen, who knew? 43-yard return as well. You gotta love that. If a defense come up with 2 turnovers, they are setting the tone early. Now the Eagles, they stalled out on a couple of those drives, and the Cardinals ended up getting the ball back. And there was a situation where we're 3rd and 20, and you Eagles fans know it. I mean, it's the kind of play that kills you every single time. But who better than Larry Fitzgerald, the Eagle killer? Previously, Larry Fitzgerald had 9 touchdowns coming into this game. Makes this his 10th touchdown against the Eagles. Boykin lets him in on the inside, and Chung takes kind of like a wrong angle, knocks off Boykin, and Larry Fitzgerald scampers down the field. It's a big play for the Cardinals in the sense that they tie up the game. But when you're 3rd and 20, you expect the Eagles to come up with a stop, and that did not happen. Now, in the 5th series, the Eagles came back, had a nice little drive. They had hit McCoy on a screen, hit Avant on a play-action pass. It was pretty nice. Riley Cooper makes a sick catch. Full extension, one hand, comes down, brings it down, makes a nice play. And the Eagles are ready to drive in for a touchdown, folks. First down, you're thinking, you know what, the Eagles are going to go in again. Maybe some solid play calling. But Chip Kelly outsmarted himself and recently acquired Brad Smith on a, people are calling it a wildcat option. but Chip Kelly shot that down. He said it's not the Wildcat, but it's a play that they had practiced during the bye week. It's something that they installed, but obviously didn't work as you know he Smith fumbled and that play didn't work. But in that series, it resulted in 3. So obviously we didn't get the touchdown, but we did get the 3. So Eagles up 10-7. Now in that 6th series, Djax has a nice catch. He's got Peterson on him, and the ball was perfectly thrown in there by Foles. The Eagles come back with a screen to McCoy, who gets a first down. Then he has another run, and then the Eagles take a shot to Riley Cooper in the end zone, get a nice little pass interference, and the Eagles come back with another touchdown to Brent Selleck. It's pretty huge that the Eagles were targeting those tight ends and also targeting those linebackers. And obviously, that was the weak spot in the defense. The Eagles definitely worked that angle. But you got to love that. Back-to-back touchdowns scored by the Eagles tight ends. At halftime, you're thinking, wow, they're playing a pretty sound game. Defense is coming up with plays, making turnovers. The offense is driving the ball and showing they're capable of scoring in the red zone. You're pretty excited because you're thinking the Eagles look pretty sound. Now, going into the second half, the Eagles get the ball, and what better way to follow up a good half by scoring in your first possession? Now, the Eagles, they come out and get a couple QB sneaks by Nick Foles, a couple other plays, and then it's a 3rd and 11. And you're like, all right, these are the kind of plays that, are, something that you got to look at as a big positive. 3rd and 11, and they come up with a huge play, Riley Cooper, 15-yard catch, which I thought was huge. Another play, the Eagles got their first down. They spread out Lane Johnson in the slot. They had the defense all confused, and they came back with a LaShawn McCoy run gash right up the middle for a first down. I thought that was a beautiful play. And then Foles has a nice pass over the middle again. Zach Ertz over the middle, touchdown. And what do we have? We have 3 touchdowns by our Eagles tight ends. Now at this point in the game, you're thinking, the Eagles are 24-7. You're thinking that the game is pretty much close to being over. All the Eagles need to do is score and put this game away. But obviously that was not going to happen because that would be too easy for us Eagle fans. Now, right after the Eagles scored, the Cardinals were not backing down. So, the Cardinals come back. They had a little bunch set. Obviously, there's confusion. There was a nice little rub route. And Floyd goes right over the middle and catches a nice little pass by Palmer to Michael Floyd. It's 24-14. You're thinking just all we need is maybe a field goal, something. But, in that next series, Eagles, it's 3 plays and out. A negative 15 yards on that drive. Cardinals get the ball back, and Kerry Williams comes up with a big-time interception. And that's exactly what you want from Kerry Williams. He kind of baited Palmer into throwing that, and then he just undercut the route and had a 15-yard return on that interception, which was a nice play. And you're thinking, Eagles just have to close the door. In the next 3 series, the Eagles completely stall out. I'm talking a drive of 5 yards. The next series after that, a drive of 9 yards. And then they follow up to that drive, 5 plays, 11 yards. Now, you're just saying, why can they? What are they doing? I know they made some adjustments. They started putting some corners on some of our tight ends, but the Cardinals were not backing down at all. They got Rock Carmichael on a pass interference, set up the touchdown to one of their tight ends. It was a nice little play by the goal line. And here we are. We're in a game in the thick of it, 24-21. And you're thinking, okay, The Eagles have an opportunity to work some of the clock. I know you guys were looking at the clock like, yo, Chip Kelly, take some time off the clock. The Eagles had opportunities to come back. They had Deshaun Jackson touchdown called back on a booty penalty on Kurt Coleman. LaShawn McCoy had a nice run, call back Jason Avant on a hold. So the Eagles were shooting themselves in the foot. I thought the call on the punt return was kind of ticky tack, but we got some calls during the end of the game, and I'm not gonna lie, just because I'm an Eagle fan, am I gonna say that these calls were all of them legit? I'm sorry. I mean, those refs were blowing some of those calls. On the 4th and 5, the Cardinals had an opportunity. I thought Floyd got contacted by Bradley Fletcher. They didn't call a flag on that. Eagles still trying to kill this game. Cardinals calling some timeouts. Eagles with a 3rd down play. Instead of running the ball, they kind of try to do a pass play. He gets sacked out of bounds, and they call a pass interference on one of the defensive ends or the linebacker. I forget who it was, but Darryl Washington flipped out. He got an extra penalty. Cardinals had no more timeouts. It's 1st down. Pretty much that's the game right there. That's how it ended. But I felt bad for the Cardinals fans. But hey, we had some blown calls, and I remember a Cardinal game, AFC Championship. I mean NFC Championship, that Kevin Curtis joint. Yeah, I don't forget. We don't forget. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. There was a lot of blown calls in that game, which allowed the Arizona Cardinals to go to the Super Bowl. So if you want to cry about it, look at that. Yeah, karma's a bitch. Now, a couple other notes. The Lions won this past week. The Cowboys won. A positive here, the Chicago Bears lost today. The Chicago Bears have to play, I believe, the Cowboys. And if the Cowboys knock one of each other out, that's fine with me. But another big game coming up for us is we play the Lions, who are also 7-5. If we can beat the Lions, that'll be awesome. In Arizona Cardinals, who we already beat, those are the 2 teams that are in contention for that wild card spot if the Lions don't win the division. But it's looking like the Lions could win the division. But if Eagles end up coming down the road, the 4 games left for the Eagles would be the Lions, who are next week, and the Vikings, 3-8-1. And then we have the Bears in week 16, so we can, if they're in contention for that wild card spot, we end up beating them. And then if all is said and done, it comes down to the last game of the season, the Eagles have the Cowboys. The Eagles have some great games to win coming up. It's going to be tough. But today's game was the first game that the Eagles needed to win in order to look to the future. A team that was playing for something. So hats off to the Eagles for taking this one. And also, my apologies for missing out on the Redskins game. The game cut off in my area. Totally pissed. Had the NFL ticket. Ended up they weren't allowing that game on, so I couldn't even watch the game, man. Very disheartening. And then try to come back and make another video for the week. But who has MCL, PCL issues with the left knee? This guy. So any of you Eagle fans out there can tell me how long it takes to recover from an MCL tear and a possible PCL tear. I'd like to know, because I'm trying to heal up over here. But I'm Gayle Saunders, Eagle Sessions, skinnypost.com. And I'll see you guys next week. And hit me up with some more subscriptions if you like what you see. And I will promise I will be back next week.